Hi there, students. Ahead of time. Ahead of time. Okay, this is an adverbial expression or a phrase. It means earlier than the deadline, earlier than the moment. So you've got a deadline and then you've got ahead of time. So there are some people who like to do their work and give it in at the last moment, but I like to get things done ahead of time, before things happen. Look, let's meet for lunch sometime next month. I'll call you ahead of time and we'll sort out the exact details. If you're going to do this recipe, it's best that you get all of the ingredients prepared ahead of time, before you decide to make it. Let's see, this meeting is really important and I want to check the place where we're going to have this meeting ahead of time, before the meeting actually takes place. So before expected, before required, earlier than is usual. If you arrive in the theatre ahead of time, you're going to be able to get the best seats. This essay isn't due until next week, but I finished it ahead of time, before time. So they had organised a surprise party for me, but I knew about it ahead of time, before it happened. But I pretended to be shocked and surprised anyway, in advance, beforehand, prior to the expected time, early, so ahead of time. Now, you also have the phrase ahead of your time, ahead of someone's time, ahead of something's time. This is something that is an innovation. It's something that is new, but it's before. So the music that he was producing was ahead of its time. It was something that was before it became popular. It was going to become popular. A lot of science of the science fiction of the 1950s is ahead of its time. I'm always thinking that Star Trek is ahead of its time, with this communicator where they talk to somebody in the spaceship above. This is definitely ahead of its time. This is your mobile phone. Okay, so if something's ahead of its time, it's got ideas or attitudes that are too advanced to be acceptable. So maybe my grandmother was ahead of her time in wanting to become the head of the Scientific Research Bureau. Okay, this was not something that would be acceptable at that point in time. So ahead of time. Yeah, if you're ahead of time, then earlier than expected, but ahead of your time is something that has happened before it's something that's something is mainstream. And maybe then you make it mainstream by being ahead of your time. The building was completely ahead of its time. It was something completely new and something that would be fashionable in the future. Okay, so ahead of time. I'll call you ahead of time to fix the details. Can you tell me ahead of time if you're coming to the party or not? They finished their work ahead of time. If you're going to come, call ahead of time. You've got to get a visa ahead of time, otherwise you won't be allowed into the country. Prepare the salad ahead of time and put it in the fridge. Okay, so I will try and finish the project ahead of time, but I can't promise it. I like to get everything ready ahead of time, and then when my guests come I can relax. Let me know ahead of time if you need a ride to work, because I only live next door. If we really work hard at this, we can finish it ahead of time, before schedule, before the fixed moment. So ahead of time. So enough formality. Ahead of time. I think I'm going to give it a 5 in formality. Use anywhere. And origin, well, it's before the time that was scheduled. Very easy. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Ahead of time.